YouTube, what's good? Coach Montel here, back with another video. Today, talking about the best carbs for fat loss and why they're so good. I'm so tired of carbs having a bad rap and being the reason or the poster child for why we gain body fat. It's not the case at all. I'm about to break down why that's the case and show you some carbs that are actually extremely beneficial for you and your goals. Let's get it. So first off, we'll give you a little bit of evidence as to why people call carbs bad or non-beneficial, because there are some carbs that aren't really good for fat loss, and the reason being is because they're high in calories, they are low in nutrients, which means they don't have a lot of vitamin content, they don't have a lot of good fat content, not a lot of good protein content. They're fast burning, meaning that you have glucose released into the bloodstream at an extremely fast rate, which causes a huge spike in blood sugar, which creates insulin resistance, which obviously is not good, because then we talk about diabetes and pre-diabetic symptoms as a result of constantly consuming these types of carbs. And then the biggest thing is that they're non-satiating, mostly because of that insulin response and basically those leptin receptors being turned off, and now you feel hungry even when you've eaten a lot of food already. And those are the type of carbs that aren't beneficial for us at all. And that's going to be your basic things. That's going to be the things that people think about when they think about carbs. This is going to be your refined white bread, sugars, your sodas, your juices. These are the type of things that hit your bloodstream quickly. They spike it, they're high in calorie, they're low in nutrients, and they're not beneficial for you at all when we talk about dropping body fat. So those are what we're talking about in that aspect. We want to stay away from those, but just because we want to stay away from that doesn't mean that carbs in themselves are bad. I'm about to show you what makes a good carb when it comes to fat loss. All right, so before we dive into what makes a carb good for fat loss, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so that you don't miss any videos going forward. Because if you tune into every single video, you follow what's laid out, I'm giving you the free game to drop body fat, build lean muscle, get your confidence back, and get exactly where you want to be. You just got to take advantage, and if you subscribe, you'll get that done. Now, we got the bad out the way. What makes a carb bad? What makes a carb good for fat loss? What should you be looking for in the carbs that you're consuming? So first off, we want low calorie in terms of the amount of volume that we're consuming. Secondly, we want high in nutrients. That's high vitamin content, high protein content, fat content, just a lot of good nutrients in those carbohydrates all around. And then we want it to be slow burning. This is one of the biggest aspects. This is the opposite of those fast burning carbs where you get it in and it spikes your blood sugar instantly. We want slow burning carbs. They help provide us with more energy throughout the course of the day, which if you've ever been in a fat loss phase, if you're trying to maintain your deficit, you'll know that you run out of energy very quickly as a result of a lower food intake. And this is going to help to alleviate some of those issues. And then you're also going to have much less stress on your blood sugar levels, which is super important from a health perspective. Most importantly, for a fat loss phase, they're satiating. You don't feel like you're starving. You don't feel like you're eating a low amount of food or that you're in a deficit at all if you are consistently consuming foods that have a high satiety content, and they're just able to fill you up a lot more because they're high in volume, they're high in nutrients, and your body can actually use them, as opposed to these fast burning carbs that don't really provide us with anything at all. For my top 5 carbs that you should be consuming if you're trying to lose body fat in a healthy and sustainable way, first off, before we dive in, there's so many foods out there. There are so many things that you can consume. Just because these are my 5 doesn't mean that I feel like these are superior to all other good options. There are hundreds and hundreds of different carbohydrate foods out there that can provide the same level or type of nutrients, but these are some of my personal 5 that I choose, that I consume, that I program in for my clients. So I want to break down why and if you need to implement them into your diet as a result. All right, so first on the list is popcorn. Yes, popcorn. Popcorn actually has a ton of fiber. It's a very high fiber food. It's very low calorie in relation to the amount of volume that you're consuming. and the time that it takes to eat, which can be understated when you're in a fat loss journey. Sometimes if something is a little bit more difficult to eat, takes a little bit more effort to consume, it's way more filling and efficient for you. Next up is quinoa. Nothing particularly special about it other than the fact that it has very high fiber content, which just like its cousins, I guess you can say, oatmeal, barley, things like that, very high fiber content. But what separates quinoa is it has a lot more protein content than a lot of those other grains. So quinoa is a good option, but oatmeal is very similar as well. So if you consume oatmeal on a regular basis, then oatmeal and quinoa are kind of interchangeable. Quinoa has slightly higher protein content per gram, but they're really close. So quinoa is number 2. Number 3 is Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is extremely high in protein, and from a primarily carbohydrate source, the best thing that you can have is a high protein content in that carb source, because you get the carbohydrate content, you get the vitamins from it, and then you get that extra protein, which we all need in our fat loss phase. And then it's very satiating, and it has good probiotics, which is great for gut health. It's great for helping your digestion, which is huge once again in your fat loss phase. So number 3, Greek yogurt. 4 is Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are extremely vitamin rich, have tons of great and essential vitamins that we need just for overall health, and definitely throughout our fat loss phase. Also super high in protein content. If I'm not mistaken, it's one of the highest green protein vegetables. You've probably got peas that are up there. Peas are probably the only thing, and edamame basically the same thing. But aside from that, Brussels sprouts have great protein content, and like I said, high fiber, high nutrients, just a great leafy green all around for you to get in. And last but not least is chickpeas, a vegan staple. If you've ever contemplated or tried to go vegan or vegetarian, a lot of meals are gonna have chickpeas in there, and for good reason. They're very high in fiber content, they're very high in protein, and they're extremely satiating. So you guys see the pattern here. After the 5th one, you see that they're pretty much all high in protein, they're very satiating, they're high in fiber, all things that are necessary for a flawless and almost perfect fat loss phase if you can continuously add these foods in. So that's it. The best carbs for fat loss and why, and also a little bit of information on what makes a food good for fat loss and bad for fat loss. So if you guys got value out of this video, please comment below. Let me know your number 1 takeaway. Let me know if you're gonna try out or put any of these carbohydrates into your diet. And once again, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so that you don't miss a beat. I wanna give you guys a game and help you get exactly where you wanna be in your fitness journey, in your fat loss journey, in your journey to build lean muscle and get to your healthiest and most confident self ever. So make sure that you don't miss out on anything. And if you're ready for coaching, if you're like, man, Montel is the guy, I'm ready to work with you, help you get where you need to be, click the link down in the description below, apply for our program. Let's see if you're a good fit, and talk to you guys soon.